Welcome to Subramani. I'm going to talk about a topic which people just love called timing the market. How many years you spend in the market doesn't matter, but the lure of thinking you can catch the tops and the bottoms will never go away. And I don't think you should give it up completely because the pleasure of finding the top bottom on one transaction or two transactions in a year is also great. So I don't think you should stop pursuing that. But how many shares you deal with and what you do, that you have to decide. Let us say I need to put a number. Let's say I've got 50,000 shares of Cholamandalam Investments. Cholamandalam showed a lot of fluctuation. Obviously, in the month of March, it fell like every other share, and now it has gone back to, I think, post-COVID prices or rather pre-COVID prices. Now, when you have 50,000 shares, you're always tempted to say, okay, I'll sell it at 500, wait for it to reach 250 and buy it back, and wow, that's great amount of money to be made, right? But I'll never be able to do that. At no point will I be able to convince myself that this is the top for Cholamandalam, nor will I be able to convince myself that this is the bottom. So what do I do instead is deal with maybe 1% of that. So maybe 500 shares I'll buy and I'll sell, and let's say I sold it off at 393 and then I find it back available at 375. To me, that's good money because you're making 18 bucks on that, and 18 bucks on 500 rupees is 9,000 rupees. Is it great money? No. What does it do? It helps me with my market, with my brain against the market on a constant basis. So it helps me trade in a share which anyway I have as an investment. So this is what I call delivery based investing and timing the market. So you will constantly get, now suppose I sold off Cholamandalam at 390, then it went to 425, I sold off another 500, then it went to say 475 and I sold off another 500. What it means is out of 50,000 shares, 1,500 is gone out of my portfolio, that is just 3%. And this I will never be able to buy if the price then keeps going up relentlessly. Let's say it goes to 700, then this transaction is lost. I am now left with 48,500 of Cholamandalam, and that's perfectly all right because you will always get some opportunity to trade. Then one fine day, some NBFC notification, something happens, and some controversy in the Murugappa group, and suddenly the price comes down to 450, which means my last 500 can be covered. That I cover. Right. So do I time the market? Well, I will never give up the hope that I can time the market, but what happens is anyway I'm largely fully invested over the last 40 years. So a small portion of my portfolio is available for timing the market. So I've invested in small cap funds, I've invested in minerals and gold fund, I have invested in some world energy fund, US fund, Japan fund, right? All perfectly timed. But please understand, this would be not more than 5-6%, maybe 8% of my portfolio, simply because you know that actual money is made in investing and sitting tight over long periods of time. But this temptation to time the market in a few scripts where you have quantity and where you can play around with. Let's say you got 5,000 shares, or let's say you got 1,000 shares of Cholamandalam. You can play around with 200 shares, right? 800 shares become your investment. 200 shares is something with which you can trade. So this is what is called delivery based thing, because in case the price goes down, you don't mind, you just hold on to it. If the price goes up, you sell. And similarly, if you think the price is high, you sell some, and then when the price falls, you buy it back, right? So you can pick up 2-3 shares in your portfolio, and in that you can do delivery based trading and trying to wit yourself against the market, saying, no, I think this is overdone, let me buy it, or it's overdone on the upside, let me sell it, I can always buy it back. For example, recently I sold Indigo at a very decent price. It has not seen that price again. It is hovering about 100 rupees less. Am I willing to buy it back? No, I thought I could wait for some more time, some more bad news, and then I would buy it. Or I would just let go of that number of shares which I have sold already, right? Try doing that rather than saying in my whole portfolio I'll try timing the market, because none of us know what is going to happen, and watching television, watching videos like this, and reading blogs actually increases your confusion, because none of us knew in January that March would see a 30% fall, and none of us knew in March that by November we would hit a all-time high without the vaccine being in place with a virus which is really rampant even in India and in US and in other parts of the world. It has not really disappeared, but a lot of shares are doing well. Should it be doing well? How is the fundamentals? I'm not talking about that, but the thing is, none of us knew what is going to happen. So all of us can predict a recession every year and find that it is just not happening. Secondly, it can happen that sales are down but the prices go up, and it can also happen that the prices have already gone up, so when the real good results are announced, the share prices come down. So unless you are very sure that you will be able to predict the direction of the market, how long the share market will stay there, and not just in the market, your portfolio, and how quickly it will come down, at what stage to buy it back for the whole market. If you knew this, you're telling a lie, right? Nobody knows all this. So you always take a chance with a part of your portfolio, not with your full portfolio, because if you keep doing this with your full portfolio, you'll never be able to build your portfolio. So obviously, fairly obviously, every year I invest, but the amount that I trade is obviously much higher, because every day I'm doing something. I'm buying a Tata Motor DVR, I'm buying a Tata Power, I'm selling, I never go short, but if I feel that I think I've doubled my money in Tata Power, some X number of shares from 30 to 60, I'm happy selling it off, hoping that it will come down. Now if it does not come down, that transaction is over. That's it. I made my 30 bucks, paid short-term capital gains and gone home. Now you can choose to buy, say, 25,000 shares and say, okay, 30 has become 60, let me sell off 500. Then at 90, I'll sell off another 500. So make your own trading rules, make your own investment rules, make sure you don't mix them. And it's a part of your portfolio. Trying to time the market is something which you can enjoy doing, but it should not be an obsession. And if you don't have written rules, the chances are you will say, aur thoda karta hu, you will either wait on the downside or you will wait too much on the upside. So make your rules, and it's perfectly all right to break rules, provided you know why you are breaking the rules. So make the conditions, say this is what I will do, this is the price limit at which I will buy, this is the price limit at which I will sell. I will take so much money off the market. If I get 140% return and 86% return, I'll take some money off and put it into my pension fund. This is extra money for you, just take it and put it in a pension fund. So first of all, go and buy a pension plan. I'm not getting into whose pension plan. Make sure that it is reasonably well managed. Some are horribly managed. I don't want to name them also. So, and every time you make a profit, just keep putting money into that account, so that end of the year you know how much you have made, because that is all the input that has gone into it. So every year if you can make 2-3 lakhs extra and keep putting into that account, that's not so bad at all, right? Because it is your contribution to your retirement. How that helps? It gets tied in, because you know that now I can retire earlier because I've contributed extra 3 lakhs, which is going to be my expense for 2 months when I retire at 60, because right now I'm 28 years of age, because right, so 32 years inflation is what I'm building in. So every year regularly, if you can put money over and above your SIP amount into one account, which to me could be a retirement account. But if you're young and you may have other goals, then it could be a money market mutual fund, right? It's perfectly all right for me. So you open a money market mutual fund from where you do STP of whatever, 5,000 a month or 3,000 a month, and all your trading profits, take it off on a weekly basis and keep putting into that liquid fund. That liquid fund will keep doing the SIP, SGP anyway. So every month, whatever you contribute, maybe 1 month you contribute 30,000 and 1 month you contribute 0, but your SIP of 5,000 rupees can still go on. This is how you should use your trading. Why you should do trading? It should be delivery based, and use the trading profit to build up your early retirement, right? This combination will work. It will never work on your full portfolio. Part of your portfolio, do it, try. If you're having fun, great. If you're not having fun and you're losing money, stop, because that also you should have a rule. Thank you.